Savory breakfast sausage, oven roasted potato hash, granola clusters, and mojito fruit salad. Hi, friends. Welcome to Cooking Live with Lala. I'm Lala. I'm a home cook, professional baker, and plant-based eater. Whether you are also plant-based or just trying to add more plants into your diet, this show is for you. Let's get cooking. We're starting today with our oven roasted potato hash. So the reason we're doing a oven roasted potato hash as opposed to stovetop in a skillet like what normally people do is I just find this much easier. I don't have to sit there and keep stirring the pan for 25 to 40 minutes depending on your heat. So I've got 2 large potatoes. They are already cubed in about 1-inch pieces. And to that, I'm going to add some sweet potato. Sweet potato is not required for this recipe, but I just like to have a little bit of a sweet element in my hash. So I'm going to attempt to cut this in 1-inch cubes. That's pretty good, right? This is one of my favorite breakfast foods. It just pairs well with everything. I find that it's nice for a hash to try to cut things in similar sized pieces. When you take a bite of that, you kind of want a bite of several elements in your mouth at the same time. And if you cut your pieces too big, you're not going to have that. Tia, hi Tia. Hello, Deaf Trip. Deaf Trip better be here. He's like literally required by law to be on my channel because he's my husband and my producer. All right. We're going to get these potatoes in the oven in a second. Ooh. All right. To the potatoes, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I've probably got a little bit over a tablespoon in here. You don't have to use oil if you're SOS free. You could completely make this dish without the oil. And here I've got some onion powder, smoked paprika, and rosemary, which is something I really love in my breakfast potatoes. So that's going in. And I'm just going to add some salt to that. That's probably about a teaspoon. I'm going to cook these on 425 for about 25 minutes. Got my pan here. I often cook on a silicone baking sheet, but I'm not going to do that today because things don't brown as well on this. So I'm going to remove it for today. All right. All right, in the oven that goes. All right, we've got that in. Ben, hi Ben. So nice to see you. I know you guys have a lot going on. I appreciate you being here. So this potato hash is going to have some other elements. We're going to cook some onions and some peppers and mushrooms. I've got some Swiss chard I'm going to add in there. This I'm going to do on the stovetop. So part of it gets cooked on the stove, part of it gets cooked in the oven. I just find that I just like the way that the potatoes are when I cook them, when I roast them in the oven, better than cooking them on the stove. All right, let's chop up these veggies. I'm going to use 1 pepper. You could use a pepper of any choice you want. You could leave the pepper out if you don't like peppers. I happen to love peppers, and I love that they bring a little bit of a sweet element to the dish. You know, when you cut produce for a meal, you need to think about how big of a piece do I want in my mouth when I'm eating this food later, you know? For peppers, I almost always want a small piece. They're very flavorful. And I don't want the flavor to overpower the other elements of the dish. Oh, this is so juicy. I think a piece just squirted in my eye. Hi, Sydney. You could cut this any size that you like. Like I said, I like my pepper pieces to not overpower my dish, so I like to cut them in small pieces. But like I always say in my videos, and by the way, episode number 3, baby. Oh yeah. Anyways, I don't know what I was saying. Let's cut this onion. I'm going to use half of an onion because this sucker is big. You could use any onion that you like for this dish. I like a sweet onion, so that's what I'm using. And also, like, I don't know about you guys, but I tear up a lot when I cut onions. White onions are the worst for me. Yellow onions are bad. Red onions are bad. Sweet onions, not so bad. So I tend to use a lot of sweet onions. But yeah, you could use a red onion, would definitely be nice in this dish. Red onion has really great flavors. Strong flavors, but just really, really good. You know, I know a lot of people who cook are really talk a lot about how specific people need to be in their cooking. And I just think that makes our lives harder a lot. Do what works for you. Do what makes you happy. Eat what you like. All right, I'm going to get this in the pan. Put some olive oil in here and heat this guy up for a minute. This is about a tablespoon. So because I want the onions to be cooked well, but I want the pepper to be about halfway cooked, I'm going to throw the onions in first. All right, I'm going to finish chopping the rest of the veggies that are going to go inside. So I'm using Swiss chard today. This is like a red variety. Oh, this guy is he's a little soggy, but we're going to use him anyways. So Swiss chard is not a requirement for this recipe. If you've never had it before, it does have a little bit of a strong flavor. I'm going to put the stock in with the onions, and then the greens are going to go in towards the end. I'm just going to do a fine chop on this guy. I'm not adding a lot. Like I said, this has a really strong flavor. You could definitely leave this out if you don't like Swiss chard. I really kind of like to use as much like as big of a variety as I can to my dishes. If I can throw in an extra veggie, I'm going to do that. I don't know if you guys ever watched Dr. Greger. I'm pretty sure he's the one that says you should get 30 different types of plants in your diet. I think he says a week. I'm pretty sure I do that like every day. This, I haven't counted. I would love somebody to count, but I'm pretty sure this meal is probably going to have more than 30 different types of plants. Oh my God, it smells so good in here already. Who doesn't love the smell of onions cooking on the stove? Oh my God. I didn't even put the garlic in yet. All right. So we're going to throw this in a second. I'm going to put some, there's some garlic in there in a minute. I've got 4 cloves for this recipe. You can add as much garlic as you like or no garlic. Totally up to you. Garlic is filled with antioxidants, and my family and I love to eat a lot of garlic. My husband is Cuban, so kind of don't have a choice. I'm pretty sure garlic is his middle name, but it doesn't matter. We love garlic. We're going to use a lot of it. You can cut your garlic as finely as you like. You can leave it in chunks. You can mince it. Totally up to you. We don't mind getting a big piece of garlic in our mouth. Like I said, we really, really love garlic. If my husband were watching this recipe, I'm pretty sure he'd tell me to add more garlic. Sydney loves Swiss chard. I know you do, Sydney. You actually introduced me to Swiss chard. Thank you very much for that. All right, I'm going to throw these peppers in now. So we got some software that allows us to use multiple cameras, but we had some real problems with it. We weren't able to use it yet. It's going to take some more time. So for now, we have multiple cameras. We're just not using them for the live stream yet. But hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll have that all figured out. All right. So in a minute, we're going to add our garlic and our mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and cut some mushrooms. Mushrooms are not a requirement for this dish. These are kind of medium large size portobellos. You can use any mushroom that you like. You can also cut the mushroom any size that you like. This guy is pretty big. I'm going to chop him down a bunch. Mushrooms tend to melt a little bit when you're cooking them on the stove. I often will just half them, but these are just way too big for that. So I'm going to add about a cup of mushroom. This might be a little bit more than that. That's okay. This recipe is super flexible. You can do what you like. But it's pretty easy to make on a Sunday morning. If you're having breakfast with the fam, want to make something delicious. It's pretty easy. I think even amateur cooks can do this. What do you guys think of my hair today? I had it in a ponytail and it looked really bad on camera. We did like a little test about an hour before the show, and I hated my hair. So at the last second, I was like, let me try this. Let's see what it looks like down. I didn't curl it or anything. This is just what my hair looks like naturally. Kind of have it like off to the side. But I think the last time I did this, I was probably like in 8th grade. You know, whatever. It is what it is. Your hair looks awesome. I'm jelly. Yay. Deaf Trip says add more garlic. Hilarious. Beatrice says hi. Hi, BB. Oh my gosh. Hi, BB. BB's my grandbaby. She is 1 year and 8 months. 1 year and 8 months. Her and I had a conversation on the phone the other day. She says, oh, and then we just talk back and forth. It's really cute. Tia says my hair looks so cute. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to cut these greens to go in at the end. These basically will wilt, but still nobody wants a giant piece of wilted green, I don't think, in their potato hash. So we're just going to cut this pretty small, kind of do a little chiffonade. All right, there we go. It's not a whole lot. I'm keeping it light. Like I said, Swiss chard has pretty much a strong flavor, and we don't want to scare anybody. My onions are almost cooked, so I'm going to add in my garlic and let that cook on its own for a minute. Just until we start smelling all that wonderful garlicky flavor. Oh my God, I wish you guys could smell this. Oh my God, it smells so good. All right, I'm not going with my mushrooms now. You also don't need to add olive oil when you're stir frying. If you're SOS free, you probably already know how to saute with water. Feel free to do that in this recipe if that's what works for you. All right, we're going to start our potato hash. I'm sorry. We're not going to start a potato hash because we already started that. We're going to start our breakfast sausage. So I've got a cup of lentils that I've already cooked. I cooked this in 3 cups of water. You could use broth as well to give it more flavor. And there's a whole slew of seasoning in this. I cooked it with the seasoning. It's got paprika and fennel and sage and thyme and onion powder, garlic powder, red pepper flakes, mushroom powder, liquid smoke, and soy sauce. That's what I cooked this with. I didn't put any salt in it. That would have been probably something I would normally do, but the liquid smoke does have some sodium. Obviously the soy sauce or tamari has sodium. So I cook this. It's usually about 20 to 30 minutes for a lentil, depending on which lentil you choose. And then I just let it come to room temperature. There's no liquid left. If there was 1 or 2 tablespoons of liquid in your pot, you could also just throw that in here. So I've been testing this breakfast sausage recipe for years, really. I'm going to say it's really not super easy to make a good vegan breakfast sausage. You kind of want it to be a little crispy on the outside. You want it to have all those wonderful flavors of sage and fennel. I like maple syrup in mine. So I think this is a really good recipe, and I would love for you guys to try this. Before we add anything into this bowl, we're going to make some flax egg. That's going to give it that stick to itselfness that sausage is going to need. So for my flax egg, I'm using a 1/4 cup of flax meal. This is the one that I'm currently using. This is a golden roasted flax. This is already ground. I keep this in the freezer and I just take a small amount out for the week. Apparently, you just need to grind it before you use it in order for it to keep all of its properties. So like I said, I keep it in the freezer and I just pull some out. You could also buy flax seeds and just grind them as you need. That's often what I do as well. So to that, I'm just adding 1/2 cup of water. Just gonna give that a good mix and let that sit for a minute. It's super watery now, but probably in a minute or two, it's gonna be pretty gelatinous. All right, so to our lentils, we are gonna add maple syrup and some salt and pepper. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I really like my sausage to have a maple flavor. This can totally be excluded if you are not into that. The salt as well. The salt is not a requirement. If you're SOS free, please feel free to leave that out. These are already super flavorful because I cooked them with all those seasonings. And my peppers and onions and mushrooms are done. They look really fantastic. I always tell you guys you should give your food a little taste, so let's try this real quick. I haven't added any seasoning to this. It's so flavorful. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And it's actually not done because I forgot to put my greens in. But these cook in a quick second, so they can be left in the pan with the heat off and they'll just wilt a little bit. All right. Bun says, great chopping technique. Thank you. Do I prefer to use ceramic knives or metal knives? Whoa, we're getting into serious cooking here. I had metal knives forever. Stainless steel, that's probably what they're made out of, I guess. I like them, but they need to be sharpened. I have some pretty inexpensive ceramic knives that I love. I swear by them. And when I buy new knives, I will continue to buy ceramic ones. The stainless steel knives are great for heavy duty chopping. If I'm chopping like a raw butternut squash, or I'm cutting raw ears of corn in half, I'm going to use a heavy duty knife. One thing to be said is that the ceramic knives are not tools. If you try to use them for other things other than chopping, they're going to break. And as a matter of fact, when I got my first set of ceramic knives, I broke the first one like within a week. Just trying to use it as a tool like I do the stainless steel knives. All right. So this is the part, if you make this recipe, the amount of moisture you have is really going to vary. It's going to vary based on how much water was left in the lentils. It's going to vary based on how humid it is in your area. When I did the final test of this, I used about 2 cups of oats. So I'm going to go for that today. And you could also blend some of these lentils if you want a creamier sausage. I kind of like to have a bite in my sausage, so I leave them whole. And let's go in with this flax egg. The comments are very quiet today. All right. All right. So what you're looking for when you make this is kind of it to stick to itself. If you squeeze it, does it stay together? This definitely did not stay together. It needs some more oat flour. You don't have to use oat flour. If you are celiac and you do use oat flour, you want to make sure it's a certified gluten-free oat. You could use regular flour in this recipe if you like. Yep, I still don't think that that's enough flour. All right, let's test that again. I think it's going to use all the flour that I made. It's better, but it's still not staying completely together. By the way, if you use kitchen gloves, like disposable gloves, this is a great recipe for that because this one is messy. Will it still work if it's not sticking together? You don't want it to fall apart on the stove when you're cooking it. Then it won't be sausage. It'll just be, I guess it would be like sausage crumbles. All right, I'm going in with all of this. Luckily, the recipe calls for about 2 cups of oats. I actually ground 3 cups just in case, and I've used every bit of that today. It just goes to show you that sometimes when you're cooking, the variables are different from other times. Okay, let's hope that this works because otherwise I'm in trouble. Yeah, I think this will work. Awesome. We're going to get some of these on the stove. I just got a little frying pan here. I'm going to put some olive oil in it. This would really be best with a nonstick pan. I actually don't have any nonstick pans right now. I am looking to buy one, but I'm sure that you could use a nonstick pan with no oil, or you could put this in the oven. I'd probably try 400 for maybe 12 minutes on each side. You know, it definitely depends on your oven. So I recommend like a cookie scoop. This is a small one. I really like the medium, and I meant to find it before the show, but I didn't find it before the show, so we're going to go with this one. Bun Bun loves vegan sausage. Sydney says every time she makes it, it falls apart. Is it easy to clean up? Yeah. So I'm just going to make a couple little sausages here. I honestly don't know the difference between those gloves. I very rarely use gloves when I'm cooking, but I used to have some with my sweets business. Maybe Sydney can comment on the type of gloves that we used. I'm just going to make some cute little guys. Ooh. All right, the potatoes are done. I'll show them to you in a minute. I've turned my oven down to 350 because that's the temperature we're gonna make our granola. All right. So I'm just gonna do about 4 of these for now. The rest I'm gonna cook later. This sausage has some really strong flavors like fennel and sage. I've got some red pepper flakes in here because I like mine to have a little bit of a kick. But when you see the recipe, I'll post the recipe and I'll probably do a quick video of this all on its own so you can see the beginning stages of it. You could definitely use more seasoning than what I'm using. I'm using less seasoning for, you know, a lot of people can't handle a lot of spice. So, oh, that guy fell apart. Let me just clean up my workspace. All right. This is what the potatoes look like. They're nice and cooked. They're a little bit brown. Taste amazing. All right. So depending on the size of your sausage, they're going to cook 5 to 10 minutes on each side. So 5 to 10 minutes. When it starts getting brown enough, flip it. You might need to turn your heat down a little bit. You make all of this seem so easy. I think that this is going to be the most complicated live show yet. There's a lot of different elements, and it's already after 4:30. So we've already been on for over half an hour, and I have a lot left to do. All right. So we're going to do our granola next. All right. I need to make some space, actually. If the heat on your sausage is too high, what's going to happen is the outside is going to get brown too fast and the inside won't cook. So you definitely want to maintain about a medium temperature. All right. So we're doing granola. Granola that clusters. Isn't that what we always want in a granola? We want those big chunks of granola. This recipe is adapted from someone else's recipe. This is a peanut granola, peanut butter chocolate granola is what I'm trying to say. I was watching YouTube one night and saw a fellow YouTuber make this recipe, and when she took it off her pan when it had cooled, it just came in these big chunks, and I was like, wow, that's what I want. I stopped everything that I was doing and I got up and made this recipe right away. All right. We're doing this one completely from scratch, folks. melt some maple syrup and coconut oil and cocoa in a pan. Since it's a half cup of maple syrup and a half cup of coconut oil, I just pour the maple syrup in, and then I let the coconut oil sink into the maple syrup, and it lets me know if I've got the right amounts. Okay, that's about a cup. Putting this in the pan. And I've got some coconut here that I've already measured out that's going in. Now, when I make this normally, I like to put peanut butter in it. I'm not going to do that today, but this is where I just kind of throw in 2 heaping tablespoons of peanut butter. And we're going to cook that on low until everything melts. Ooh. And those sausages are basically done really quick and easy. I'm just going to leave them in the pan while the pan cools down, and they'll continue cooking a little bit on the inside. All right, so back to the granola. I've got 4 cups of oats here. If you're celiac, you definitely want to look for a gluten-free oats. All right. So I use about 2 cups of mix-ins in this. Your mix-ins can be whatever you like. For today, I'm going to add some walnuts. I've got some hemp hearts that I'm going to use. And I'm going to throw in some cacao nibs. I usually do raisins. I like the golden raisins, but I didn't know if it were out. So we are going to skip that today. But literally, you could use whatever mix-ins that you like. You could put chocolate chips. I think if I did chocolate chips, I'd probably throw them in after it's done cooking, because otherwise they're going to melt. So there's my hemp hearts. There's my cacao nibs. And I'm going to rough chop some walnuts, about a cup of walnuts. I just generally buy whole nuts, and then I could use them for whatever I need. I definitely recommend finding a place that sells bulk things like nuts. That's a really great way to save money. Right now I'm getting my walnuts from Costco. I don't know, I think you get 2 or 3 pounds for maybe $12. That is the best deal in my area. If I didn't have that, I would go to Sprouts. Sprouts sells whole walnuts. I don't know, they might be $8 or $9 a pound. That's significantly more than the cost of Costco. So thank God for Costco. All right, and this recipe calls for a quarter cup of coconut sugar. I am out of coconut sugar, so I'm going to use regular raw sugar today. I think you could probably leave this out of the recipe. I will put a link to the original recipe. Definitely want to give credit to the original YouTuber that made this great recipe. But you know, the only way you could really tell if you can make substitutions is to just try it. And I do it all the time. And most of the time it works out okay. Every once in a while I might really mess something up, but for the most part, You know, if this called for like a whole cup of sugar, I probably wouldn't leave that out, but it's just a quarter cup of sugar. I think this could probably do well without it. So this guy heated up. I'm just going to mix the rest of it together. I'm telling you guys, this is the best granola recipe. I've been making granola for a really long time, like decades. And this is the best one out there. I really, really think you guys should try it. You'll be super impressed. This recipe does call for a teaspoon of salt. I am going to add a little bit of salt because I do like the flavor of this with a little bit of salt. This is going to cook for 18 minutes in my oven. Ovens vary. Yours may cook differently. If you guys don't know what your oven temps, most of the time ovens do not temp the way that they say they do. All right, we've got our mix-ins in here. We've got our liquids in here. Let's mix this up and get it in the oven. And then I'm going to have a Bellini. What about cherries? Cherries would be amazing. Do I enjoy cooking? Yeah, I love cooking. I cook every single day. I'm always in here testing new things, getting ideas about what to make, which is so good because we have to eat, right? All right. I am using my sheet with the silicone baking mat so that it doesn't stick. All my granola is going in. And I'm going to press it down. There's no stirring in this recipe, which is really nice too. I always think the more you spread this out, the thinner it is, the more clusters that you get in this recipe. All right, in the oven it goes. 10 minutes on the top shelf of the oven. All right. So not only is this the best, most delicious granola recipe, it's also the quickest. A lot of granola recipes cook for quite a while at a lower temperature. This one, 18 minutes in and out in my oven. Yours may vary. If I ate the whole thing, would that be terrible for me? Let me see. What did I miss? Where did I get the mats from? So the silicone mats were from Amazon. They were a Christmas present. One of the best gifts I ever got because I love my silicone mats. It's allowed me to cut down the amount of oil that I use in my diet. I am not SOS free. I would say I'm SOS light most of the time. Can I use oil instead of the matte? Probably matte. For the granola, no, I would not use oil. God, if I didn't have a silicone baking sheet. So yeah, I would probably oil my sheet first. I'd probably use like coconut oil, something like that. Or oil my sheet pan first, and then I would press down my granola. If I ate the whole thing, would that be terrible for me? No, it would not be terrible. It'd be really amazing. Okay, what's next? Okay, we're supposed to make a mojito fruit salad. Oh, I just closed something important. Did I mess anything up? I closed my YouTube page. I'm still good? Okay. So we're going to do a mojito fruit salad, but first I'm going to make a Bellini. A Bellini is a champagne beverage made with peaches. The typical way to make it is to puree peaches, and some people use raspberries. which I think is really good. It sounds very delicious, but we're not doing that today, just to save time. Let me move some stuff out of the way. It's getting messy in here. All right. So instead of champagne, I love champagne. I think most of us love champagne. I've just got this Prosecco. It's not exactly the same. I think this is sweeter. I don't know. People can tell me in the comments. Sydney used to 10 bar. I think you might know the answer to that. But while I don't love cheap champagne, I think pretty inexpensive Prosecco can be very delicious. So that's what we're using today. Let me see if I can open this up. Have you guys all opened a sparkling beverage like this before? Let's hope I don't put my eye out. All right, we've got the little cage off. Now I'm just going to twist. Nope, it's not twisting. Okay, it totally spilled over. Can I get a mop? Anybody get a mop in here? Okay, just kidding. I'll just like not slip. I don't know why, it's just always fun to open these. All right, so like I said, a bellini is usually peach puree. We're doing it easy peasy style today. I just have this simply peach juice. I know it's not the same. It's okay. Sometimes we can take shortcuts and it's okay. It really is. My understanding for a bellini is 1 part bellini, 1 part peach, 2 parts champagne. I have these little glasses here. They might be an old school champagne glass. They also might just be a teeny tiny martini glass. I don't know. But we're using that today. 1 part peach juice. 2 parts champagne, which this is obviously not champagne. You can't really see that very well. Okay. Ooh, that camera does not want to adjust. All right, I'm gonna go bring one to Dev Trip. Are you so happy? Yes. You should text a message about how it tastes. So I was actually going to do alcohol-free bellinis and use like the sparkling grape juice that you find in the store. We like to buy that for our kids during holidays just to give them a little special treat, but I couldn't find it, so I ended up with this. It's so good. Really, guys, it's okay to take shortcuts sometimes. I know somebody could roast me for not doing a proper bellini, but you know, to be honest, I'm sick. I've been sick for a few days. This show today is a struggle, and I don't want to do a peach puree. And this is actually fantastic. What we are going to do is a mojito fruit salad. All right. In my fruit salad, I am doing strawberries, raspberries. Can't really see that. Strawberries, raspberries, kiwi, a peach. Boy, that stuff really leaked inside my bowl, didn't it? I'm going to clean that up. All right. So I was planning to do a fruit salad, and I just kept thinking, how can I elevate this fruit salad? You know, we all eat fruit salad all the time, don't we? We just throw a bunch of fruit together and it's amazing and delicious. So I was trying to think, how could I elevate it? And then I thought, mojito flavor's good. Why don't we try that? So that's what we're doing today. I've never made this before. Hopefully it'll turn out good. So I've got raspberries that I've cleaned. They're pretty ripe, so some of them have kind of fallen apart a little bit. That's okay. They're going to be delicious. I'm going to throw that in there. I've got a bunch of strawberries. You guys could use any ingredients that you like for this. Use the fruit that you like. I am definitely using the fruit that I like. I think I'll just do some slices of these strawberries. Ooh, I was going to do blueberries. I forgot to take them out of the freezer. Oh, well. I didn't buy them fresh because I knew that I have pounds and pounds of frozen blueberries, which would work just fine in this recipe. How's your Bellini? It's great. No, you have to type it. Let everybody know how it is. If you have organic strawberries, you could leave the greens on. These are not organic, sadly. Last year we grew strawberries in our garden. Wow. We got strawberries all season. So many strawberries. This year, not so much. It hasn't been great. They seem dead. I'm really hoping they finally start producing something green, but not so much. I'm not sure what's going on with that. What happened to you the other night, Sydney? She says cheers. It really is good. Oh, that strawberry is amazing. Okay. Strawberries in. This is what we got so far. So for the granola, in my oven, I cook it 10 minutes on the top, and then I turn it around and put it in the bottom shelf for 8 minutes. Yours may take a minute or two longer. I would say the first time you try this recipe, just keep an eye on it and see, see how it's doing. You don't want it to start browning or overcooking, I should say. All right. Got a kiwi. Oh, this is a golden kiwi. I wasn't expecting that. You can tell because it's gold and not green. Just gonna kind of fillet those. Some people eat kiwi skins. These are organic, so you could definitely eat the skins if you wanted to. I don't know, maybe I'll taste one. I really just like to have different colors in here because it makes it prettier. Don't Don't you guys eat with your eyes like I do? If it looks bad, you're not going to be super excited to eat it, right? Oh, I missed some of that guy. It's another thing about this knife is that it's very flexible to like fillet a kiwi with. All right, kiwi's in. The last we need is our peach. This episode is almost over. I want to leave them in decent sized pieces because I want to really get a good taste of each piece of fruit in here. All right. Now on to the mojito part. So mojito flavors are mostly lime and mint that's sweetened with sugar. So that's basically what we're putting on this. All right, I don't have a really big salad. This is probably 3 to 4 cups of fruit. So I'm going to add in some maple syrup, not too much, probably about 1/4 cup. And I've got a couple juicy limes here. Let me start with 1 lime and see how that goes. Yeah, this is a pretty juicy lime, so I'm just going to start with 1 and see how it works. Like I said, I've never made this before. I'm just throwing it together and see what I think. All right, so I've got lime juice and maple syrup, and I've got these little mint leaves here. They smell really great. I always have trouble picking ripe fruit. Sydney says our strawberries last year were amazing. Yeah, they were so good. They were great. I bet you that garden plot, those strawberries are still coming up right now. So I'm going to kind of do, not a real chiffonade, but kind of a chiffonade with this. I want to make really small mint pieces. This is like 4 leaves. I would recommend cutting your mint pieces very small. Mint is a really strong flavor. And nobody really wants a giant mint piece in their mouth. All right. So I'm going to mix this together and just pour that in. Ooh, that is probably more sugar than I needed for this. So I'm just going to mix it together until everything's coated. And I would probably just let this sit for an hour or 2 if you can, so all those flavors will mingle. I'm just going to cut a couple more limes with more of a real chiffonade and put that on top. Great, done. Awesome. All right. We've got 2 minutes left on the granola. I think it's time to start plating. But I really haven't had much of this. Let me try it. Bun Bun says my kitchen is really messy too. Tia eats the kiwi skin. Oh my God. The champagne blew up on me the other night. Oh my God, for real? Did you lose a lot of it? I bet you did. Where you get that holiday knife? Secret Santa. That's what it's all about. We do Secret Santas in our family. Do you guys? I just close my eyes and eat when it looks gross. Does that happen to you often? You have some, special circumstances right now which might make you feel extra weird about food sometimes. That'll be over in probably by July 11th. I just want to apologize, you guys, if I haven't been like my normal bubbly self tonight. I am struggling quite a bit with this illness. This was really hard for me to put together today. We're actually over an hour, but this episode is almost over. So let's finish putting together our potato hash. So these are the vegetables that we sauteed. Did I ever season these? I can't remember. Yes, I did. Oh my God, they taste so good. I'm gonna throw the potatoes in here. Oh my God, the granola's done. So this is what the granola looks like right now. We're gonna let that just cool down for a minute while we finish this. And that's basically our potato hash. Doesn't it look good, guys? I'm gonna finish mine with a couple ingredients. I just have some blue cheese crumbles from Follow Your Heart. These are really good, guys. If you haven't tried them yet, they are like, wow, it's just really impressive. They really taste like blue cheese. I mean, it's been years since I've had real blue cheese, but as far as I can tell, this is like the real deal. And I've got some fresh tomatoes I'm going to throw on. I love adding tomatoes to everything. You definitely do not have to do this. I like my food to have lots of color. I also love to put toppings on my dishes. Whatever I can add, I'm going to add to it. That's why I have fingernails, so I don't cut my fingers off. So I've got tomatoes on there. I'm going to cut this green onion on there. Man, this guy is really crispy. Can you guys hear that? And that's what that looks like right now. Doesn't it look good? I'm so excited to eat, you guys. It's time to plate this food. We've got some hash on that plate. I never did show you guys the finished sausage. That's what these look like. So let's throw some of those on. I gotta eat that tomato. throw some fruit salad on there. Let's check out this granola real quick. So I don't know if it's cold enough to really show you how clustery it gets, but let's check it out. All right. So that's what the granola looks like. I'm just going to use a little knife underneath it. It's not super clustery yet because it's still very, very hot. It just came out of the oven, but it's so hot. It is really, really good. And this recipe is super adaptable for the flavors that you want. Sydney's so jealous and hungry. Well, I think you're almost at a restaurant right now, so you're probably going to eat really amazing foods. All right, we're going to put this granola away for later. I will probably do a separate recipe, a separate video on making this granola. Creds to the original maker because she did a great job. I could just eat this granola. I make this at least once a week for our house, and it's just gone so fast. It's just so delicious. All right, do I have a taster? I'm going to put some salsa on my hash. This is Mrs. Renfro's. When I'm not making my own salsa, this is the salsa that I really, really love. I'm too new. Trust me, nobody's sponsoring my videos yet. Habanero, mango habanero. It's fantastic. That's what the finished plate looks like. Hi, sir.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
Hungry.
Hungry?
Ready to eat. Oh, thank you.
You want to try something? I'm going to try the hash. The hash is good. I could just eat this. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's really good. I can taste a mojito.
It tastes like mojito?
That's amazing.
Wow. Wow, that is so freaking good. Wow. That turned out really good. I'm going to take one sausage, or part of a sausage. You can have this plate. Thank you, sir. I just want to taste the sausage really quick. The flavors are totally there for the sausage. Crispy on the outside, cooked in the middle. I think what I'll do is I'll make a bunch of these and I'll just freeze them and already cooked. All we have to do is take them out, microwave, throw in the oven, whatever. It's really good. Now you get to watch me chew for a second. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my third episode. I'm still here, haven't quit yet, right? Good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Cooking Live with Lala. I will be here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for another Cooking Live episode. Next week, we are doing a Taste of the Caribbean. It's going to be a creamy black bean soup, tostones, which are fried green plantains, and a vegan flan. And I think I'm going to try to do a virgin mojito if I can find again, if I could find the sparkling like grapes. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much, friends. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.